Okay, everybody, we're here with the Bass Bros podcast. I'm here with my brother, Philip Friedman.
What's going on, guys?
And our special guest today, Carnell Lee. Super excited to have you, man.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Thanks for having me, man.
So me and Carnell crossed paths on the Water Boats Bass program. And if you don't know what that is, it was a program we put on at Diamond Valley Lake to where your big fish could count for something. Carnell hit me up one day on Instagram. He was like, what are the rules? How do I get in? I already got some fish. And I was like, all right, cool. Got someone coming in. This dude smoked people, dude. He's coming in with a giant bass. And I'm like getting him like, oh, my God, this guy's going to win for sure. Like just smashing him. And before we get into all that, Carnell, I really want to get a background. Because this is the first time we've met. We really don't know that much about each other.
Yeah.
I want to get a background where you grew up, how'd you get into fishing, and how did this all kind of start taking off for you?
Well, I started fishing when I was like 6 years old. I was 6 years old. My dad got me into fishing, and which kind of started like fishing the Sierra Nevadas. And then like when I was around, like right a little bit after that, like around probably was like 6.5 going on 7, we moved to Oklahoma.
Okay.
And when I moved to Oklahoma, that was it, bro.
Yeah, it's fisherman's paradise.
Oh, dude. So actually, it was like we moved to a brand new track home, and it was in Newalla, Oklahoma. It was like so remote, like nobody even kind of heard of the city. You know what I mean? It wasn't really a city. We more considered it like the country.
Yeah.
Because it was on the outskirts of like the big cities, like Oklahoma City, Midwest City, Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was like on like 45 minutes to almost an hour away from there. So bought this brand new track home, all dirt roads, no pavement roads, everything was gravel. And right in the back of all of the homes is a creek that ran forever. I mean, it was different depths of the creek. Some areas were 6 feet, some areas was 8 feet, and 10, 12.
At this point, you already love fishing?
So, no, I didn't really love fishing.
Yeah.
I was still kind of young. So it was like the only thing to really do there, because it was like I didn't have any friends. Every house was like maybe 4 or 5 acres away. I mean, they were so spread out because we had a lot of land. So the first thing that Christmas, I think we moved there like around sometime in like October, November. It was really cold, I remember. And at December, that first Christmas, me and my brother got brand new motorcycles. So we got motorcycles, and then my dad, just from taking me fishing when I was younger, bought me a few rod and reels. So that's exactly where it started for me, like just going in the backyard, fishing like right at the end of my backyard in the creek. Cool. Then I got a little older, like 8, 9 years old. I was riding my motorcycle. Then I just started exploring, dude. I would leave the house in the morning, and my parents wouldn't even see me. Like there was no cell phones, no pagers. You know what I mean? It was like I was gone all day, every single day. First thing I did, wake up, hop on my bike, take my rod and reel, and I was starting to find these areas and coming back with these bluegill, and my dad were like, where are you I mean, dude, biggest bluegill I ever seen. I mean, you got to think, these were untouched areas. Like, nobody has
They're out in the sticks.
Just out in the sticks. Nobody was, like, really exploring like the way that I was. I mean, I was get up grimy, dude, like in the sticks, in the dirt, and find these areas that will open up into these, like, really clear water, like little lagoons, and dude, you literally visually can see all of the fish. I mean, this thing was loaded, man.
That's so badass.
First cast almost every time, and I would just like fill up a stringer, take him back, and my dad couldn't believe it because my dad's been fishing his whole life, and he just couldn't. The size of these bluegill that I was catching on just grasshoppers, dude. I would just like catch grasshoppers, you know.
As a kid, that's got to be like heaven, especially if you love fishing.
Right, and that's the thing. Like, I didn't really realize what I had at the time until now that I'm older. You know what I mean? When I look back, I was like, dude, I wish my kids or friends that I have now could experience what I experienced. I didn't even know what I had at the time. Right. How gracious it was. It was just like, all right, it's in my backyard. I'm fishing. I'm catching fish. Wow, this is how every other fisherman do it. You know what I mean? It's this easy. One cast, like whatever.
So that was step number one
That
for
was
your
step
love
one.
of fishing. What's the next step? What makes
So
it grow even more?
I only stayed, so I started fishing there. That's where it all started for me. And then lived there for about 6 years, moved back to California, because I was born and raised in California. Moved back to California. I'm like 12 years old. And my uncle is a big fisherman. So at that time, he would always take me like to Meade and to Sierras, but we would only go like, every so often. Like I would go like for Sierras, we would go out obviously during the season. And then Lake Meade, we would do more like in the summertime, but we would only go like maybe 2 to 3 times a summer. And it was more for like water sports. But like me loving fishing so much, like everybody else would be doing water sports. I'll just be walking the bank by myself, finding docks, just, making casts, not really knowing what I'm doing. I knew a few like knots to tie, like a fisherman's knot, and that's about it. Like my uncle would buy me like worms, or, I would have some power bait, just not really know. I hadn't even started catching bass at the time. Like I wasn't a bass fisherman. I caught my first bass in Oklahoma when I was fishing for bluegill, just fishing for bluegill. And I remember coming up and I seen this fish and I made a cast and it shot across like a bullet, dude, and just boom, and I caught it and I'm like, dude, what kind of fish is this? This thing's wild. Like, put it in a bucket, it's like jumping all out, you know what I mean? I'm like, didn't even know what it was, and that's when my dad's like, where'd you find this bass at? You caught a bass. So that was the first bass I ever caught. And not even really knowing, moving back, I started, just catching trout, catching catfish, catching panfish, bluegill, because that's what my uncle fished for.
Yeah.
Didn't know anything about bass fishing. And I only went so often. Started to get older, really got into music. And
around what age were you getting into music?
So I started writing when I was 12 years old.
Okay.
So
and what was your influence? Did you always know you wanted to write music, or
Never,
did you just start?
My family's from the South. Like, we had a music background as far as like my parents listening to music in our house, but not really like nobody in my family did music.
Right.
You know what I mean? Nobody played instruments. It's just me, I guess, living in California and just being around, other kids that listen to music and stuff like that, and it grew on me. Like, I started listening to reggae a lot on my own. My parents never even introduced reggae to me or nothing like that. I just found it on my own. And then just being around friends and just like saying, shoot, I want to write music too, you know what I mean? So started writing music when I was like 12 years old, started writing my own songs and stuff. And then not really fishing that much, because by that time I'm older and, I don't have a car yet. I still love to fish, so every now and then I met another friend that liked fishing as well. So we would ride our bikes. And I was living in La Puente at the time. That's where I was born and raised. So I would ride my bike from there all the way to Santa Fe Dam, which was in like San Dimas.
Right.
How many miles is that?
That's probably, I'm going to say it's probably 10 miles in a car.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 miles. But when you're young on a
Right,
bike,
no matter.
I never even knew about other cities. So like,
I took a skateboard from Torrance to Playa del Rey, and my feet were all but that was to see a girl. But
yeah,
it's
but
like when you're young, you don't care.
you don't care, dude. And I didn't
Yeah.
even realize, how like when you're young, like every day is just all you know is your city. That's
Exactly.
usually your remote area that you're in.
Your
So
stomping ground.
when you go other places, you're like, dang, this is far. So
Yeah.
the fact that we were riding our bikes all the way to Santa Fe Dam, and like I found that just riding my bike down the streets and ran into it. Not really having GPS, not knowing how to really get there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just looking at a map, and I was like, dude, I want to try to fish this place. So I started fishing it, and like just with my trout background, I was doing the same thing. I was going there setting up like trout. What did they call them at the time? You know what they?
It's like your power bait setups and stuff like that?
No, they used to call them trout. It was like where you use like say a 2 liter, a container, and you tie it some line on it.
Jug
with
lines?
The jug lines, like
Jug
a jug
line.
line.
Yeah.
And you leave them out there, and you come back and you check them later. So, because I really didn't know how, like I had my reeling rods and stuff, but from moving from Oklahoma, I only had like a few left. So I didn't have a lot of bait, and I wasn't like telling my parents, hey, I'm gonna go fishing.
Right.
So it was not like they knew that I was even fishing or anything like that at the time.
You're just
I was
out.
just riding my bike out there.
They're
just
probably like, what the
trying.
hell is Carnell
dude.
doing all day?
I was just riding my bike, dude, just trying to like fish, and like I didn't have much success at all, dude. Honestly,
It is
was
kind of
like,
funny when you do get addicted to fishing. People don't understand it.
No, well, and they think you're doing something bad.
That-
I've always been accused of like doing like. No, I was up at 3 a.m. fishing for sandbags.
Same, and with girls too, they're like, "Are you really fishing that long?" Like I told Kaylin when I got back from China, I was like, "Oh, now you're gonna see me like, I'm a whole new person when I'm around fishing."
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of time goes into it.
Oh,
you know?
especially then. You got to think about the times then, man. You talking 20-something years ago,
Right.
bro. Like, fishing was, I got laughed at by my friends in my neighborhood. They're like, they couldn't believe fishing. Like, nobody had done, like, nobody was ever fishing. So, like, when we were doing it, it was not the cool thing to do. You know, I got clowned all the time for fishing.
Yeah.
But that's, like, where it all started. Just going to Santa Fe Dam and, like, riding my bike there. Then I got older, finally got my car. And still, you know, you just always have that itch, man. It's always in you.
Always there.
Always there. Like, when you're a fisherman, it's always there. Like, I really got away from it for a long time because I was doing music and stuff like that, but still always wanted to do it. I remember us touring one time in Florida, and we were, like, in this big mansion, and it was on the lake. I'm not even sure which lake it was. I can't even remember at the time, but I remember we were on the lake, and I walked in the back, and, dude, just seeing, like, bass just all around this dock, and all of my, like, group members were like, bro, why are you getting all geeked out over this?
Like,
you know?
I get like that, too. And it's like, I get adrenaline.
Yep.
I start, like, I can't go anywhere there's water.
Yeah,
If there's
you have to
water,
look.
I
You
gotta
have to look.
Got to, dude.
And Florida's like the best place for that. You can go
Oh,
fishing anywhere.
God.
And I was just, like, tripping out on all of these bass that were just in the area at night. I was just seeing them, dude, just swimming around, you know, and my friends are just, everybody else is in the house partying, girls everywhere. You're out there. I'm on tour, like, just geeking out over these fish. Like, dude, nobody has a reeler rod. Nobody fishes around that.
It should come with the mansion.
I know, dude, it was a trip, but that's kind of where it started, man. I got a little older. I finally got my car, and then it was that one trip that I made. I remember I was probably around 16 years old, and I wanted to fish. Same exact thing, but I was like, dude, I'm not going to go Santa Fe Dam. It was another lake called Pudding Stone, which is Lake Benelli. So I was like, I'm going to go there. And I remember, dude, taking a cooler, like being out there sitting all day with trout bait, power bait. And it wasn't even like in October. It wasn't when they were stocking.
Yeah.
It was just
Like
straight dead summer, right? I'm not even knowing what the heck I'm doing. I'm just sitting there like, and this bass fisherman walks up to me. He's like, dude, I've seen you all day, man. You've been grinding. Like, it's like, yeah, I'm just out here having a good time, dude. Just trying to fish. Like, I love fishing. Don't really know too much about the fish that are in this lake, but I'm fishing for trout. And he was like, really? He's like, well, dude, the thing about California is the trout is stocked here.
Yeah.
There's a certain time for that.
That
Like,
stuff died in April.
pretty much. They're either been eaten by bass or they're died off
Overheated.
already. Yep. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. He's like, you want to catch a fish? You should catch a bass. And I'm like, really? What's a bass? I didn't really know what a bass was. He was like, I'm going to tell you what to do. And at this time, Kmart's were big. He was like, go to Kmart. You buy this lure right here. And it was a Bill Lewis rattle trap, chrome and blue. He was like, you buy this lure, you come out, walk the bank, just make cast, make cast, make cast. I said, all right, I'm going to do that. That day I left, went and bought that lure, came back a couple days later, walking the bank, just making cast. Cheap old little spinning reel I have, making cast, boom, caught my first bass, man, like, legit bass, you know what I mean? My first legit that I was actually fishing for on a Bill Lewis rattle trap was a 3-pounder.
That's awesome.
And I remember like catching it, just being so stoked and like grabbing it, running on the bank because I had like a little Polaroid. I wanted somebody to take a picture. running on the bank, like just looking for somebody to take a picture. And there was a few other kids in the rental boat yelling at me, throw it back, what are you doing, you poacher, you're keeping the fish, all of this stuff, right? Throw it back. And I'm just looking at like, dude, what's wrong with these guys? Like, I just want a picture, dude. I'm looking, run, I finally get to the dock, get a picture of the fish and stuff, and released it, and was happy, dude. And come to find out, those kids that were on that boat, one of them is Oliver Nye, which is Big Bass Dreams, Ryan Crandall, which is another trophy bass fisherman, Kevin Hugo, which is a really good buddy, still of mine to this day. That's a really big FLW wand bass fisherman. So that's where it all started, man. That's how we all met there at Pudding Stone.
No way.
And now all of us are in the fishing industry.
That's so cool.
That's super cool.
So cool.
But those were the kids that were yelling at me.
Poacher.
Oh, get it! What are you doing?
So did you guys
the fish?
meet that day?
We met that day.
And so that's where your relationship started with those guys.
That's when I really started learning how to bass fish, because I met them that day and started coming every single day. Every day, meeting with them. Kevin Hugo ran the boat rental and the tackle shop there which is now the lifeguard area at Benelli. So he ran the tackle shop and boat rental there. Kevin Hugo ran it. All of us would meet every single day. And then that's when I started meeting a lot of us, dude. Alex, my buddy Alex, we're all still to this day really big into the bass industry, you know.
That is a bitchin' way to grow up, and a really good story to like. Be
I know,
these
dude.
guys were calling me poachers. At first.
It was a trip, man, because like when I tell people the story of like, that's really when it started for all of us. Like, and Kevin was like one of the first ones to really get out and start fishing the tournaments. And like become, you know, a really good tournament fisherman, winning FLWs and stuff. And at the time, dude, I remember, because by this time, we did that for a good 3-4 years. By that time, I'm like, 19, 20, I kind of lost touch with them. I was really heavy in the music, touring, doing a lot of shows and stuff. And hadn't seen them in a while, but just hearing in the back, like, man, Kevin turned pro, man. He's doing this and doing that. I was just like, dang, really?
Right.
And then for the longest time, man, when I finally got back into it, it was the same with Oliver, too. Like, I didn't see him for a long time. It was like a 10-year span.
Yeah.
And everybody was wondering where I was. I was wondering where they were and what they were doing. Oliver was really young at the time. Me and him started, like, fishing together a bunch, even when we didn't even fish Benelli no more. We went out and bought some float tubes and started exploring more. He was showing me other lakes. Like, dude, we got to go to Paris. What the heck is Paris? Where is that at? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he introduced me to Paris, and me and him were just traveling, fishing all of these golf courses. Just kids, young kids in our teens, man, like just driving everywhere just to get bit, just to have that advantage.
No better way of growing up than doing that.
Yeah.
That was
absolutely.
like, it was incredible, man. It was incredible, like, and that's like was my whole introduction. And didn't see him for a while. Ran into Oliver one day at In-N-Out off of Azusa. He was really heavy into like import cars. He was racing and stuff. He's like, man, I haven't really fished in a while either. I was like, dude, neither have I. I've just been into music. He's like, cool, man, we should hook up. All right. Another long time went by. And then I finally just started going on my own, like just walking the bank at Pudding Stone. And then I ran into a buddy who I met now, like is my business partner. He was just fishing, had him a little tracker. I was in a flow tube, came up on me one day. He's, dude, how you doing? Oh, man, it's pretty cool, you know. Got a few so far. I was like, dude, I just stuck a 12-pounder. I'm like, 12-pounder, he showed me. I was like, holy crap. And come to find out, that guy, dude, lived like 4 minutes from me. And we lived literally right down the street from each other. And I met him at Pudding Stone.
That's so funny.
And me and him became tournament partners. That's my very first tournament partner. But he was in a bass club at the time called Bass and Buddies.
Okay.
And he went back and was like, hey, I met this guy, you know, when I was fishing one of the days. His name was Carnell. And he was talking to the guys. And Oliver was in Bass Buddies. And he heard my name. And he was like, Carnell? Black Carnell? I was like, yeah, you know him? He's like, dude, I'll go way back. I've been looking for him for a long time. Give me his number. Literally like a day later, Oliver calls me. He's like, bro, I've been looking for you. Where have you been, dude? Like, and it was like 10 years we have. He's like, dude, you gotta meet with me. We gotta go fishing. I gotta show you this new technique.
And that technique was swim bait.
Oh boy.
It was.
And is this the style that you usually fish, or does it depend on the tournament? Or
I'm typically always throwing swim baits.
okay, cool.
Like
And
tournament, not tournament.
yeah,
Swim baiting is my forte.
how was getting introduced to that? What was that like?
So it was crazy because like when I started to get out of it, like swim baiting had it was a thing at the time, but you know, being as young as we were, having the setups we had, it was just like, what the heck, like people are throwing these, like we're throwing 4-inch worms, bro.
Yeah.
Like finesse, like a 6-inch worm was big, you know, like you throwing a 6-inch worm, you're like, man, then we start throwing 8-inch worms at night, and we're like, dude, that's huge. Like that's something big to us. The biggest lure we threw was like the size of a crankbait, you know what I mean? So we knew like the AC plug was big at the time, and then also like the castaic trout baits were coming in and stuff like that. But dude, a lure of that size and that amount of money, like we weren't even
Super intimidating.
We still feel that today.
Yeah.
Like when we roll up to a tournament, we're like, oh, I know I can catch something on this worm, but
Yeah.
if
That tungsten weight is like $12. I'm not throwing it today.
big time. Yeah, just, you know, tungsten is a big thing now too, you know, and just the materials, and you know, it's expensive as far as when you think about weights.
Yeah.
People that throw worms a lot, they're like, man, I'd rather throw lead. Like
Yeah.
us, they're crying about, you know, $3, $2 weight, and we're throwing $100, $200, $500 baits, man.
Yeah.
You know?
so you will throw that Roman made.
Which one?
Anything they make.
I got them all, dude.
God.
Every last one of them, from the mother to the mother chaser.
My heart would skip casting that thing out.
And you think the mother chaser, that's $1,000.
That's the one we saw at the what was the name of
East
that?
Coast Bait and Tackle
East
by
Coast Bait
San
and
Vicente.
Tackle,
Yeah.
That big one.
Yeah.
So you got 4 kids that all came out of basically a small body of water that became very successful fishermen.
Yeah.
What do you attribute you guys doing at that body of water that led you guys down this career of amazing career fishing?
You got to think, dude. There's a lot of guys that come from Putty Stone. There's more than just us 4. There's a lot of guys that was, if you grew up fishing that lake, that was a real humbling lake to fish. Like that lake is not an easy lake. It's so highly pressured. So like a lot of us learned there. And that's where we carved our way, right there at that lake. So going to these other bodies of water,
You're already grinding.
we would just grind it. And like, if you can fish at Pudding Stone and catch, like, and cross that over to these other lakes, it's just, not to say that it was really easy, but man, it was, you know, it wasn't as hard. Like, if you can grind and fish Pudding Stone, you can definitely catch at other lakes.
That's really cool.
And that's how it started. It's like a lot of us came from that body of water, man.
Yeah,
And
it's so hard to get on
it's
the
so
bite.
hard. It's so hard to catch fish there that, you know, it made us better fishermen.
Sharpen
That's
your,
what I
you honed
guess.
your skills and
For sure.
everything.
For
and
sure.
now you're a tournament angler as well, right?
Yes.
And so what, some of the biggest bass out of DVL that I've seen were caught by this man right here at night in the Waterboats Bass program. So fishing those night tournaments, is that a good time to catch a big bass? Do you prefer fishing night tournaments?
I like fishing night tournaments. I grew up fishing at night a lot, only because at that time when we were fishing and you know, sneaking into these golf courses and retirement homes and stuff like that, at night was the only time you can fish and without getting the cops called on you or getting kicked out, you know. So like, I really learned how to fish at night, you know, and I always knew that, you know, a lot of the bigger bass, they move up and feed at night. So a lot of my bigger fish coming up were caught at night versus caught in the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I was younger, my bigger fish were caught at night when I was younger. So it was something I did for a long time. So when like this whole night tournament thing came along, it was like, oh shoot, dude, I want to do these, you know. And I remember being young, not fishing tournaments, but the tournaments that were thrown at Pudding Stone were some night tournaments. And I remember all the guys, and one of the guys, which became a successful bait maker, was Kenny Matthews. When we were all young, he used to do all our hand pours for us. That was the worm guy to go to.
Yeah.
Like Lifelike Plastics was, I mean, you could go to any body of water and catch with his hand poured worms. That's just how great of color combinations, and he'll do anything you wanted to do. We had so many different color combinations that we would fish, and so Kenny was like really big at that time, a tournament fisherman locally. You know, the first guy, everybody's like, man, Kenny Matthews, oh my God, and just catching all of these big bass and stuff like that. And he was fishing at night, and we would go there just to see like the weigh-ins and see how, you know, how the weights turned out and stuff like that. But that's when I first became like intrigued with tournaments and night tournaments before I even got into fishing tournaments.
And is it fun to fish DVL at night? Is that
It's really fun to fish DVL at night.
What's a night on the water there like?
Well, you got to think DVL it's a for our area, it's a nice size, nice body of water. It's a big body of water. So I first started fishing night tournaments at Paris. That was like the first night tournament that I ever fished was at Paris. DVL at the time for me was like, I was more intimidated by DVL when I first got into tournament fishing because of the bags that were caught, dude. It was like 25, 30-pound bags. And, you know, we're over here catching 18, 19, or 16-pound bags at Paris tournaments. And I remember my first Paris tournament that I won, I had like a 24, 25-pound bag caught, and it was all on swim baits. And we won that one with just 4 fish. We didn't even have 5. You know what I mean? With 4 fish, we didn't have 5. And then the next one I won, me and my tournament partner won it with 2 fish. We only caught 2 fish, but it was 2 big swim bait fish, and we won the tournament. So, you know, swim baiting is just like once Oliver introduced me to swim baiting, like I was on the boat with him for that time span that he really set the record straight on as far as like the ability that a swim bait has. Yeah. You know, and that was a time where he really went through that incredible time of I don't even know how many big fish he caught. It was tons of them, but that's like when the whole Big Bass Dreams movement started right there. It's like when me and him had met, and like he had all this footage that he had, you know, accumulated over this time span of him just cracking these fish. And I was there for a good part of that. I was going out every day, bro, just like, that's dude, so cool. I was just so intrigued because, like, at this time, like, I hadn't seen fish of that caliber ever. Right. Even all the years as kids that we ever fished, the biggest fish I ever caught was, like, 8 pounds. And it was at night. All of us went out one night from Pudding Stone, and we snuck out on the rental boats. So we stayed inside the boat rental where Kevin ran, and we waited till all the police locked all the gates. We used to bring our own batteries. And time they locked all the gates, it was like around 11 or so. They'll lock the gates, and they'll leave. Right when they left, we come out of the boat. We're just sitting in there eating nachos and hot dogs. You know, just wait for them to lock the gates. So they finally locked the gates. We all pull out our batteries, throw them on the rental boats, and we had, like, you know, a bunch of electric motors on the rental boats because it was quiet. If you started up the gas one, it was just too loud. Yeah. So we had electric motors, and we all just did like a little friendly, like a little tournament among us.
A little shootout.
Yeah, me and Kevin was on the boat together. Oliver and I think Ryan Crandall was on the boat. And it was a few, I think Alex, I'm not sure who he was on the boat with, but we all went out one night. And I caught an 8-pounder that night. And that was like the biggest fish. And it was at night again, like I said. It's like the biggest fish that I caught. And I was just like, wow, dude, just always intrigued at night fishing. Mm-hmm. And then...
Did you ever get... Oh, sorry. Did you guys ever get caught doing anything like that?
We never got caught.
I think... Have we ever got caught doing
always get caught.
Because we're too loud.
Have you ever heard of Los Alamitos racetrack?
Oh, my God.
Horse racing track?
Yeah.
We got information that the ponds in the middle of the horse track were loaded with big bass. We waited until the horse track stopped, climbed a 12-foot wall, went over.
Wow, dude.
We run over there, we just start fishing. And, like, I'm looking in the water. It's, like, 3 inches deep all the way through it.
We're
like,
dude,
there's no fish here, dude.
It's so crazy, though, how at night, like, you can't really tell, right? The only thing you could feel, though, is when you cast, like, hitting the bottom so quick. Like,
dude. So we're out there. He's throwing a buzz bait. It
was like a buzz jet. Yeah, Depth's buzz jet.
The cops roll in, and they got their teardrop light, and they're scanning the entire. We're wearing all black, so I laid down on the grass. He lays down with me.
I've been there.
He shines the whole grass, turns the car, and just sits right there for a half hour.
Yeah.
We're sitting there, and I'm yelling at him like,
he's like, let's go. He freaks out. He freaks out really quickly.
I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
I go, we need to leave now.
I think he was trying to be a cop at the time, too.
Yeah, I was. He goes, one more cast.
Yeah.
And I go, no.
Magic's like,
I
one more
cast, dude. Straight into a palm front. And it makes the loudest noise ever.
I hit the deck because I thought the cop was shooting me.
Dude, stop. And I'm like pulling on the string. He's like, we're going to get caught.
Oh, my gosh, dude.
I'm going to have a beer. Does anyone want one?
Go ahead, yeah.
Crack one open.
Dude, I was so scared. And then every other time we get in trouble, it's never good.
I was in the back of a cop car at Alondra Park once.
Because you snuck onto the lake?
Onto the island, and we were collecting bunnies.
Thanks, Bob.
The cop did not like that.
I've been in situations where, you know.
What's like the weirdest
I think
Thank you.
I didn't get caught by the cops at the golf courses, but we used to get caught by like the residents there,
right.
people that were living there. Mm-hmm. They used to catch us, say they were gonna call the cops and stuff like that, but never really did.
It's weird that they get more mad at you than the people enforcing the law.
Yeah.
It's like
don't want people in.
Cheers,
like,
boys.
Oh, cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
So yeah, it's so I think the funniest one though is one time I was fishing Pudding Stone, and I was fishing off the dam, and you know the dam is off limits.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and their dam is not like a normal dam where there's a lot of riprap rock, you know, it's really great and stuff like that. There's just a concrete dam, just flat concrete dam, right?
Yeah.
So I'm fishing the dam. I'm more fishing the transition of where it goes from concrete
to
dirt and rock. You know what I mean? So I'm fishing that transition right there. So I'll cross over and I'm like on a dam and I see the lifeguard come. And he's like telling everybody it's you know, time to get off and this and that. And I heard him over there, so he makes his run around to me. But I see him a little further, so I'm getting more and more into the dam, right? So he comes around, but he comes from this way.
Oh.
And I knew what he was like doing. He comes over to me, so I wasn't going to go back that way and get a ticket.
Right.
So I'll run across the whole other way of the dam, right? And if you know Pudding Stone, on that side of the dam, it's just a big old bluff wall.
Oh, shit.
Like a huge bluff.
Yeah.
So I cross over there, and he runs, he comes up on the boat. I'd hop over the gate. Think about it. I got a big, heavy bag that's like 50 pounds.
Rod.
I got my 2 rod and reels. Jump over the gate, and this guy is so adamant at catching me. He pulls up like all the way. By this time, I'm climbing up the bluff and trying to hide inside there. And he's just driving back and forth, looking for me. He actually gets out. The guy pulls him up. He jumps out. and starts climbing up trying to look for me. But
Jesus.
I climbed up even higher, dude.
Jesus.
And then another guy that was a fisherman is like, he's right there. He's
You're
right
like,
there. And
"What,
I'm
dude?"
like, bro, I'm just.
Yeah, I'm with
one
you.
of you, bro. I'm just trying to catch bass just like you are. And you over here ratting me out,
Right.
you know? And, dude, the guy never caught me. I stayed up there. And they
That dude
just
was-
went back and forth. I just climbed back down.
Yeah.
Dude, my shoes are all dirty. My everything, man. I was just like, wow, I couldn't believe it. That's probably the worst thing that's ever happened.
Yeah, that's
I don't
crazy.
think we've ever been completely busted.
No, we've had to run a bunch. I'm sure a lot of stuff not fishing, but we've had to run away a lot for sure. But getting back to the swim bait thing, me and Philip don't throw swim baits at all. We don't throw big swim baits at all because we have no confidence in them. I picked up a HUD for maybe a month. I actually caught an 8-pounder at Castaic on it. I was pumped up.
That should have right there just.
Confident.
I was
super- it.
I was super excited, but then it's hard to pick up a big bait when you're fishing tournaments for us because we just don't do it because you know you can catch one on a drop shot, you know you can catch them on the Senko.
Yeah.
What do we need to start doing to get comfortable with big baits or anybody?
It's more of like the more you fish big baits, the more you realize it's a time and place.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it comes with experience. Like I can see why you think that way because you're like, you know, you're out, you're grinding all day, you're not really catching anything. You're just like, dude, swim bait's just a grind. I'm gonna throw this thing all day and not catch anything. I'm blank or whatever. Excuse me. So in the tournament, you gotta think, you gotta somewhat downscale a little bit depending on the time of year.
Mm-hmm. Like when would you downscale?
I start to downscale like in, I would say summertime for sure.
And
I'll throw
downscaling to you is what?
like a 7-inch bait, 6 or 7-inch baits. You know what I mean? More reaction hard baits,
Like slide swimmers or
slide swimmers, mega bass eye slides is what I throw a lot. So that's what it comes down to. The more you fish the swim baits, you start to learn, you know, when that bite's on and when it's not on, you know. And then it's more of it's the drawing power that they have.
Yeah, that's
know?
what I use them a lot for.
Yeah,
to find
so-
fish. Yeah,
So yeah, there's a lot of drawing power, but it's learning how to make that drawing those followers become committers too.
Yeah.
And it's all what cadence is.
Huh.
Like a lot of people think you just throw a swim bait out and you just reel it back.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, you'll get a follower, but you're not reacting that strike.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you have to learn. You have to learn how to effectively start to fish those baits. You got to make those baits do things that the typical person isn't doing. Most people are just swimming them back. You know, you got to think about how a bait fish reacts when he's about to get eaten.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to start learning how to make those baits dart and move to the right, to the left, and, you know. So that's what it is.
Figuring
And
out this trigger.
once you get that confidence in them, it's like any other bait. So I don't go to the lake or in the tournament thinking like, oh man, I can't throw the swim bait right now because I'm not good. The same way you think about catching a fish on a drop shot
Yeah.
or a worm, Texas rig, or a
Yeah.
crankbait, I think the same way with a swim bait.
That's awesome. So
Like-
you fish Lake Paris a lot, would you say?
I fish Paris a lot.
We got a club tournament coming up at Lake Paris.
Hey, this is cheating.
No, it's not.
Is
No, it's
Paris
not.
actually having tournaments though?
No, we're just shooting little shootout with our club.
Okay, yeah.
Just
'cause I
for
was gonna
fun.
say, dude,
Right.
like I haven't fished a tournament there
Yeah.
in at least a year.
It's just like a bunch of us guys go down there. It's for bragging rights.
Yeah. Is this a good time of the year to catch one on a swim bait?
This is a phenomenal time.
All right. Well, what are we throwing
This
in our
is a
tournament?
phenomenal time
It's cheating.
to catch.
Not cheating. They can listen to this podcast.
It's a phenomenal time to catch a swim bait fish
Yeah.
in Paris, bro. Right now is the time. Right now, you know.
What do we do?
But it's if you guys are fishing the tournament, you got to think it's 2 of you that's gonna fish the tournament.
Right.
Yeah.
Someone commits to the swim bait.
Bam.
The other person put them on a boat.
I'm cool with that. You're good at putting them on the boat too. I like
Put 'em
trying
on
to
the
catch a
boat.
big
I'm
one.
usually the one that does it.
So you're gonna be the one that catches the kicker.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
And that's how you got to think about it, man. So you commit to that all day, you'll get bit.
And is this the time of year you're throwing your bigger swim baits? Because you
I'm
said
throwing
in
the bigger
summer
ones this time of
you're
year.
down. Is that because of all
It's
the trout
more.
stocks,
It's
or?
so right now this time of year with the colder weather too. It's more soft plastic baits, more wedge tail baits.
Okay.
What's
Not
a wedge
really.
tail?
A wedge tail bait is more like the bait with like a fat tail that has just a slow
Is
kick
that
wag
like
to
the,
it. It's like a HUD, a baitsmith.
The HUD 68 special or something
Yeah,
like
a
that?
HUD 68 special, which is small on the smaller end. Like you got to realize too, a lot of people think, oh man, I want to throw the smaller baits, but you'll be surprised. You'll get more bites on the bigger baits than you will on the smaller ones.
Sweet. All right,
You really will.
I'm gonna commit.
A lot of your fish, you'll catch 4th, 5s on the bigger size baits. It's just out of curiosity, man. These fish, they're apex predators, bro. Like they're curious of a lot of things. So the smaller baits, I tend not to mess with that much. It's more of a time, like, and depending on the lake that I'm on
Right.
as well, like, But I'm typically throwing the bigger stuff, at least 8 to 10 inches.
And are you throwing that all day? Because I remember when we first kind of got into the swim bait thing, you would always go, no. It's like a morning time thing, and then there's another time in the afternoon.
Yeah, I think I heard somebody talk about it. It says like during dead times, it's hard to throw a swim bait. I don't know who it was or what it was. I got some.
A lot of it
information
has to do
somewhere.
with weather conditions too, man. Bright bluebird skies,
Tough, right?
it's typically tougher, depending on what cycle of moon you're in too.
Right.
So it's a lot of science, dude.
Yeah.
But it's like the more you do it, it's an instinct that you have,
You
and
start
it's
picking
a
up on it.
confidence. I think people, it's more of committing to it and actually doing it
Putting in the time.
versus it's like there's plenty of times where the bite's hard on the worm,
Right.
but
Right.
you keep throwing it,
That's true.
and you eventually get bit.
Yeah.
It's the same way with a swim bait, dude. But people think, oh, I'm not getting bit because it's this big bait. No, you got to start to learn like the behavior of these bigger fish and where these bigger fish tend to hang out versus the smaller ones. Like when you start getting in that bigger caliber of fish, it's a whole different breed, bro. They're not your typical bass. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Their season, they know what's going on.
They know what's going on. They tend to hang out in different type of areas, and usually their areas are their home area too. Like if you go one time, you draw one out, that's where that one lives. Like you could catch that one. It's all about the timing, and the angle. You come at one angle, you don't really get bit, but you pull it out, switch your angle up. Boom, and certain time of the day too, and depending on the moon sets and the cycle of the moon. So it's a lot of different things, man. But I think it's just more of doing it so much. You know what I mean? It becomes
Repetition.
Yeah, it's like everybody has their way of fishing that they're really confident in and they feel that they're good at.
Right.
Yeah.
Like some dudes like, dude, I'm a reaction bait. I'm a crankbait. Like, dude, that's the way I catch
I'm
them.
a jig guy.
Yep, see? That's what I mean. And you have that confidence. And that's what it comes down to is like, that feeling and you're so confident. Your energy is like, oh, dude, I'm getting bit. And you know how to work that bait. You know how to drag that jig or pop that jig and put that jig in the places you
Right.
know it's going to get bit. And that's how it is with a swim bait. It's just another technique. But really knowing that technique is how you get bit.
Yeah. And what do you throw that on? What kind of reel, rod, line?
So depending on the size, like on my smaller like glide baits and stuff like that, I'll throw it on a I'll even throw it on a 200 size reel. A 200 because I like the lighter side of stuff just because I like the feel of it. You know what I mean? I don't like too much bulky throwing, like I like to be comfortable at the same time because I'm chucking, like I'm making pinpoint casts. Like I want to put the bait where I know it's gonna get bit. So like 200 size reels, 300 size reels for sure, obviously. I fish a little bit of the 400 size reels only because the thing about the 400 size reels is more of like winching power.
Okay.
Like you hook into a really good one, it's being able to get that one to the boat as fast as possible.
Right.
A 300, 200 size reel is just gonna take longer, bro. And like, and at that time, it's more of like, all right, like giving that fish a chance to take you on rocks or put you, or even so many head shakes where he starts to open up that
hook's
hole.
coming
Yep, and that hook's coming out. So, but if you pin it right and crank on it, you don't allow that, then you know you'll be all right. But I fish a lot of the 200 on the smaller size, and then the bigger size stuff I fish the 300, and once in a while I'll fish the 400 size reels. So
Very cool.
a lot of people fish strictly the 400.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care what size bait it is because, like I said, you hook into a big one, bro. I've got my ass handed to me by a big fish before, you know, by fishing too small of a reel, dude.
Yeah.
And having enough backbone on the rod, too. Like, I do fish the heavier rods, but I just like the feeling of that smaller reel in my hand, you know. So, but now, dude, with the technology, these reels, they're smaller, but they're still powerful. The drag power, everything is good. So, it's like, dude, you're straight. I have not had a problem. That DVL fish, 11-pounder that I caught, was cranked in like on a 300 size reel like nothing.
That's crazy.
Just crink, 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 like, you know what I mean?
Did you submit an 11-pounder in that?
Yeah.
11 pounds,
Go
dude.
over the weights. I didn't hear.
I don't. He would know better than me. He caught all the
Actually,
fish.
11?
Yeah, one of the biggest one was 11. I think I had
Close to the record.
I had 2 or 3 9s.
Jesus.
Yeah, 2 or 3 9s.
Were
2
these all
9s.
strictly caught at night?
Strictly caught at night because it was during the tournament. That's when I was submitting my fish because, you know, they were certified weighed.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like
There's
I didn't
no
need
easier way to submit
Nope,
it.
I didn't
Yeah.
need a picture.
Right.
It was like certified weighed. Here's my ticket. This is what it is. It's
Dude.
Yeah, if you're
and
fishing,
printed. You know,
If you're
that's the
fishing
good thing
tournaments, way
about
to do it.
fishing the tournaments.
Yeah.
It's the way to do it.
You know what it's legit.
There's legit. So
Yeah.
like I was like, you know what? All of my fish are definitely gonna be from a tournament
Yeah.
that I'm gonna turn in. I'm not gonna like go out, catch a fish, take a picture, and be like, oh, it was this much weight. You know, here's a picture. You're by yourself. Just craziness. Like I don't even want like, oh, you sure you caught that?
Right.
Nah, I was like, dude, I'm gonna stick my big ones.
Yeah.
And I knew I was on these type of fish. I knew the way they positioned, and I knew I was like, dude, I'm about to wreck this. I'm about to wreck this.
that's gotta
bro.
be a good fit. And you said Mike Long was your mentor?
No, no. No. I do know Mike Long.
Yeah, just
I've met
messing
him a
around,
few
yeah.
times, and you know he was really close friends with Oliver, and I
Yeah.
talked to him a few times. He was a good dude. You know what I mean?
Has
You
it-
know what, man? It all
I mean-
comes down to is you made a mistake. Should he live with that for the rest of his
And-
Hell no.
I don't even really know the background on it.
No,
You know what I
because
mean?
you have
I've
one
never.
side.
I know Mike Long for the person he was when I
Yeah.
talked to him.
How was Mike Long?
And
Talk
talk
about
it.
him.
Was a good dude, man.
Yeah.
He was a really good dude. I mean, a lot of people are gonna say stuff about him,
100%.
and I understand that too because it's a bad look when I
Yeah.
see the evidence of what went down. I'm like, dang, Mike, really?
know.
You know, but the few times that I've talked to him, I've met him through Oliver. A few times that I did talk to him, you know, ton of knowledge, man. I'm telling you, like,
Yeah.
that's why I don't understand why, like, if it is true or whatever happened to Evan, I don't even know for what reasons he
Right.
was doing it, but the guy had a ton of knowledge. Like,
Yeah.
I never.
he was like, his
Yeah.
thought process is not normal than a normal fisherman. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? He was just the type of guy that went into depth. Like, he did video. He studied these fish. You know what I mean? So
That's
I just don't know. All I could say is I do feel bad that the way it went down, and like I don't know, you know, if he ever's gonna come out and say anything. I have no idea.
See, that's
but
where I never ever knew Mike Long
yeah,
until that article came out. And
Yeah.
The video came out. The one thing that I think does look bad is that he didn't come out and respond to it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So that makes that it solidifies kind of that footage and kind of stuff a little bit. But I feel bad for the guy's family. I feel bad for the guy too, because you made a couple mistakes, but should you be punished for the rest of your life? Hell no.
That's the tough thing about the internet nowadays.
Yep.
I know.
Dude,
cancel culture.
We'll be done after this podcast.
I can't believe we're still going.
The fact that we said his name, bro, it's like everybody's what? Like, I don't know, dude. It's just everybody makes mistakes, man.
Absolutely.
Everybody makes mistakes, and I don't judge people at all. I'm not a judgmental. I meet people, and however you are to me, that's how I judge you.
Right.
You could be the biggest asshole to somebody else, and I'll be like, really, he was like that with you? Like, dang, I don't mean that I'm gonna hate him because he was like that with you. You know, you got to make your own judgment, dude. And he was never bad or like that I've seen. He always had a ton of knowledge. Always was seeming to want to do a lot of great things. Like his vision for things that he wanted to happen was great. But hey, that's his own deal that he has to deal with. You know, I have no idea, bro.
I think the one judgment that we can make from all of this is that Patrick's a dick for making that joke.
I'm sorry. I didn't know you were so close with him.
For sure, right?
I didn't know he was close with him, or I never would have made it.
No, I wouldn't say I was close to him. I have met him. I have talked to him, and I've sat down, like, you know. But I've met him through someone else, and that was it. Never had his number or never was on, like, a day-to-day or even a week-to-week or month-to-month, you know. I met him through other people and, you know, been around him and talked, but that's about it. And I never would think that what was happening happened. That's the only judgment that I can make on that.
So the next big thing that's coming up for you is the Open in Arizona. Are you excited for that? How do you prepare for that? What's that going to be like?
Very excited, man. It's honestly my first like actual like pro tournament to step up and actually, you know, I've fished all of the ABAs and stuff like that, team tournaments, and I've always wanted to do like the Opens and stuff like that. Just didn't feel that I was prepared as far as like my boat and have enough time to really a lot of the lakes that these tournaments are at, I've never fished them, you know. So I fished Havasu for the first time last year when I did the classic, the team classic of the ABA, and then from then on, like, I started fishing it a little bit through the year, and I really love the place.
It's so cool.
It's a bitchin' body.
Last year we did co-angler. I drew my partner from college day one, Travis Bounds.
Really?
Yeah. It was
How
really
did
funny.
that
We were
even-
staying together. I was co-angler. We drew each other. We practiced together, and then I drew him. It was crazy. We had a blast first day. Had
What
fun.
is the odds of
I
that?
know, we were
dude?
just dying. Next day, I drew Sean Bailey,
Wow.
Havasu King. You know,
Bro.
like, really good. I fished
You should have
with
learned
him.
a lot from that.
I
But
fished with him.
I
The
know
only day he didn't catch a limit on Havasu for like ever. I'm not gonna say how he was fishing because he was really protective over it.
Yeah,
but it was a
for
way
sure.
where it was more beneficial for me to watch.
than
fish.
to fish, for sure.
So I was watching, picking up, trying to do stuff like that.
But that's the whole point of that co-angler program.
Yeah.
Man.
Yes, but this is the thing. This is why I try to preach to a lot of guys. Like, this is why I never did the code thing. I could have fished a lot of tournaments before.
Right.
I just never wanted to be a co, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I understand people are like, well, dude, you get to learn experience, you get to learn this and learn that. And I'm like, dude, honestly, like,
You
I
wanna be
know
in
the
control.
way fishermen
It's
are.
weird. It's
a weird
Going from
weird
running your
line.
boat
Yeah.
and then going into someone else's boat and going,
Yeah.
okay, we're doing this today.
And it's a weird line because you get so many different personalities.
Oh, yeah.
Certain guys are cool. Like, whoever draws me on this one, they're going to be like, I could almost guarantee you're going to be like, damn, this dude was cool.
I might get
Yeah.
in it and try.
You know what I
I'll
mean?
fix
Like, dude, I'm not
bring
that
the
type
beer.
of guy. Like, I feel like since it's a combined weight, and I understand, like,
Yeah.
even though it's a combined weight, and even though the thing about a AAA or the thing about a pro is like he wants to make sure whatever opportunities come that they're capitalized on.
Yeah.
So you got to think, you got a a lot of guys do not want the co's up front. Like me, I feel like I don't think I'm gonna really put my co in the back. You know what I mean? Because there's really no point of my co being in the back of the boat.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to, you know what I mean? It's like you're both on the same team at that time. So you never know.
Yeah.
It could be that time where like I make a cast here, he makes a cast here, and I'm off. And he boop.
Yep.
And if not, you know, we pass that up, and I make another cast. Like, you know what I mean? That's the thing. You got to think about that.
The problem with our tournament is the co's and the pros had to catch their own 5.
Right.
So it wasn't a team thing. It was
Where?
like,
At which one?
At Havasu, FLW.
Oh, dude, that's what I was.
That's rough.
That is
So they really don't want you to catch them, you know? Like.
Oh, yeah. Well, dude,
I fished with a guy, I don't know if you know, Melvin Williams on the day 2. He's from San Diego.
Yes, I have heard of Melvin.
He's a really cool dude, man. And he was, we were doing bed fishing. He told me, Phil, we're going to bed fish today.
Oh,
it's going to suck for you in the back, but we're going to, dude, I got one fish yesterday. I'm having a blast.
Exactly. Just being there, the experience.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Melvin missed the bed. There's I think there were about 3-pounders sitting on it. I go, hey, Melvin, you got 2 3-pounders right here, man. And so he goes, oh, thanks, Phil. Turns around, works one fish for about an hour, catches her. Works that second fish for about another hour and a half, and I caught a fish on a Senko in the stern. And just swimming by. Stoked.
Yeah.
Fishes that fish for like another hour and a half. Couldn't get it to bite. He goes, just flip on it and see what happens. I flipped that Senko on it, and it went whoop, grabbed the Senko immediately. And as soon as he did that, and I'm in the middle of setting the hook, I go, I'm so sorry.
Like, I got it. I'm the one. I'm so sorry.
I hooked it, and then like Melvin runs back with the net, and I'm just apologizing. He starts dying laughing.
Dude, don't worry. Like,
it's the fish gods, man. You found those fish. You let me fish them. They returned
I didn't get it, and you got it.
Super cool guy.
Yep.
I think finding the right people.
That's what it is.
Your group that
dude,
seems solid.
Yeah,
you know?
dude. It's having the right people, and I get, dude. You guys know it's as crazy as it sounds. It's like, dude, the way fishermen can be is pretty
it's like high school kind of,
man,
a little bit,
dude.
you know.
It's a brutal industry, man. It's brutal. It shouldn't be that way.
We should all be on the same side.
We should all, but you know, when money's involved and this and that. But I don't care who you meet or who knows me. They will always tell you, like, dude, that's a solid dude. I like everyone, bro. Like, I love just interacting and engaging with everyone. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like
I told him I'd never want Bass Bros to have beef or a competitor. I want everybody to build everybody up because there's so much room.
There's so much room
to get
dude.
everything.
There's so
back.
much room, and
a lot
I
of fun to be
just
had.
love that it's gotten to where it's gotten. I'm just so stoked on that.
Yeah,
it went from
you guys did it for our generation.
Yeah.
You know what I
Because
mean?
I got
It's
to
just
college
like-
and there was a fishing team. I was like, what?
Yeah,
Oh, hell
dude.
yeah. This is awesome.
I have buddies, dude. My buddy Alex Pazarski, like, I just envied him. Like, dude, you got to fish for Long Beach.
Yeah.
He fished for Long Beach.
That's
I
amazing.
used to watch him on freaking TV. Like, bro, I wish I had that when I was coming up. I would have went to college, and I would have went to college because of that. Like, I did go to college, but it was more of like just mess. I just went to like make my parents happy, and like it was more like a music thing. Like, you know, I was just out and like just trying to do music and like networking with other music heads and stuff like that. Took a outrageous subject. I was like astronomy, like, because I really been into like galaxies and stars and stuff like that, you know. So I just, all right, if I'm gonna go, I'm at least take on something that I like, you know what I mean? But no fishing, bro. Like,
I couldn't believe it when I figured out there was a bass team at San Jose
I was so
State.
pissed about it.
I know.
I was like, I blew my chance.
bro, but you see how many teams there is now?
Yeah.
Crazy.
And then now high school.
Yes,
There's
high school now.
I know.
And now you're getting scholarships for college for
Bethel University, I think, is giving
I
out
would have
like
been a
10
D1.
scholarships.
I would have got a D1.
I know, right?
If there was a college fishing program,
Oh,
I
for
would've
sure,
got
bro.
You would have been the
For
master
sure, man. You cannot like. I just
that's-
think about that, man. But that's why I'm so happy, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
And worse-
that's why I don't like just the negativity, or it's like I always like. It was so hard for fishing to get where it is today, so I always want to make it seem like it's such a positive and great thing. Like, I don't like people to see like the bad ends of it, or people talking shit about each other and like being skeptical of this and that. It's like, dude,
we haven't ran into that too much, but I'm sure we will. But
Yeah.
it's not gonna.
You know,
Yeah,
you
he
know
gets
what?
hated on YouTube. A lot.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's so
It's
funny.
my face,
Why?
though. It's my face.
I just think he
draws
sucks.
hate.
He's a terrible fisherman.
Like, there's a guy, we were fishing in Diamond Valley. When I fish beds in Diamond Valley, I will shut my big motor off and trolling motor from 300 yards away to where I know the beds are.
Yeah.
This guy wrote this nasty comment of me flying through like 3 feet of water with my nitro.
I was like,
And I was
dang,
like,
Filler.
You was
What
like,
the
there's
hell?
no way.
That's not me.
That's not me.
I was like,
Yeah.
dang, Philly, you really pissed someone off
And
on
I
the
was
lake
like,
today.
that's, like,
He
I
was-
got
he got
pissed.
heated.
Yeah.
I love
I was
it.
like, it wasn't me, man. I
Yeah.
didn't do that. I was
Yeah.
like the most...
And then like you start to get real like defensive, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? Like the more you like start to get that,
It looks like you're guilty.
you're gonna start being like, you're gonna see something, and you're
Yeah.
gonna start just being like,
Yeah.
whatever.
But
At first, bro.
I like
oh
it.
yeah,
I think it's funny.
you're gonna.
I'm the
dude, you're gonna
replier
try
on
to-
YouTube
But
because I'm like,
he's
I'm the
defend
cool as a
yourself.
cucumber. I don't even say like, I don't even defend myself. I was like, hey, yeah, nice seeing you out there, Greg.
Is my pants were falling down or something?
Yeah, pull your pants up or something. I
Oh,
don't know.
bro, I mean,
He does need to pull
you
his
should
pants.
see. You should see the stuff that me and Oliver have gotten.
Oh, I guarantee.
Just not really.
Have
in
you gotten
Cali-
anything crazy?
Not in California, but just like
Other states?
other states, bro.
Have you got, like, a death
Fishermen,
threat or anything?
Being urban that we are from
Yeah.
California, like,
Yeah.
cause bro, it gotten bad.
So you
I don't
get
know if
that-
you ever seen. Me and Oliver had a reality TV show together.
Yeah, so that's the first thing when I started researching him, Breaking Bass would
Yeah,
come up, and it
Breaking
said hip hop
Bad.
meets bass fishing.
Yeah.
So I started watching a little bit. That's really funny.
Yeah,
I saw
so-
like I was watching like a short, and you were like getting grills. It said Dream on
Oh,
it. That was cool.
Yeah.
It looked so fun.
So like, it's crazy because like when we shot this show, we were like all in the red states, like just big time.
Right.
Like the whole, like when they gave us the itinerary, like we made a few changes, but
Yeah.
you got to think like our film crew is union, so they can't travel more than
It's
6 to 8 hours.
right.
And they always had Tuesdays off. They always had one day off. So like, you got to keep it close. You know what I mean? So we knew where we were starting. So we started mapping out and like, dude, this is a whole 2-month span that we shot this. Like we were gone for 2 months.
That
Yeah.
sounds
Every
like
day
so
traveling.
much fun.
It was. I'm telling you, it was the best time ever, bro. Like I could never explain any better time that I've had. Like it was a dream come true that
Yeah.
me and him, you know, we got this. And the way it came about, it was crazy. Like me being in the music industry and having the connections that I did, and seeing the way like Big Bass Dreams was growing, and seeing the way the subculture of swim bait fish was growing, and seeing the audience,
Right.
just one day
The
I
culture
told,
of
yeah,
bass
the
fishing was
culture
changing.
was just changing, man.
Yeah.
It was changing. Didn't have the same look. Like all of these Californian, all these urban kids were coming in just
It went
dressed
from-
like we were dressed,
Exactly.
and like having backpacks and just making it look cool. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's when I told Oliver, I was like, bro, I bet you I could get us a reality TV show. And he's like, no way. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you I can. I made a call that Friday. It was like on a Friday or so. I made a call, and we started putting things together. Like I made a call to some people. We put like a small little scissor reel together, like nothing special, just something small, in a week span. Pitched it on a Friday. That Monday, we get a call.
No way.
Greenlit.
That Monday we get a call.
That's crazy.
Oh.
Were you
So
guys
we-
like, what the hell?
Dude, I told him, I was like, bro, I told you. And he was like, dude, I can't believe it. So, and we get a call, we have a meeting, we go to Burbank, one of the biggest reality-based TV companies in California, which is Authentic TV. They had all of the big shows, a lot of big shows. Toddlers and Tiaras, Blue Collar Ballers, Ace of K, all of these like shows, like, dude. And boom, we go in, we sit in, we have the meeting. Bro, we left there. 2 days later, we're signing contracts, bro.
That's crazy. What was one of your favorite memories from the TV show?
Oh, man. I can't even, honestly, I had so many memories.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even pinpoint it to, like, one favorite. There was a tons, but a really good, a fun memory was, dude, there's so many. Like, we were in, I'll tell you this. The best memories I have is us going to these places with two vans, 2 camera crews, 2 vans full, me and Oliver in our truck and boat, pulling up to places, all of these cameras hopping out, and people looking at us like,
What's going on?
Why is KVD here?
looking at us like, are you kidding me?
That's badass.
What is this?
Yeah.
And everybody wondering like who we are.
Is this a
and
fishing
what,
show?
Like, exactly. We used to get that a lot. But a really good memory is like me going to Nashville, recording in the studio. I recorded the theme song in the studio in Nashville with like Toby Keith and record.
Right.
And I did
Yeah.
a country song with like a country singer there that was really known and stuff.
No
like,
shit.
dude, it was like, that was a really good memory only because like just me with my music background and like incorporating fishing. It was really fun. It was funny. We just like done it like just real stupid, like just
sounds
messed
like so much
around.
fun.
You were
and
able to
did the
blend
song.
your two
Yeah.
biggest passions.
And
That's
then
cool.
it was great. I think that's a really great memory. Going back to like my home state of Oklahoma was a great memory. You know, going back there and just like going through Oklahoma and like
you find that creek?
revisiting the creeks. That was
Yeah,
one of
that-
the episodes, man. Revisiting the creeks and like catching fish there and like weirdest thing, like I'm fishing and like out of the blue my son calls me on the phone, dude.
Wow.
FaceTimes me. And I was like, oh, I can't answer it. I'm shooting. And the production, no, answer it. Answer it's like telling me to answer it.
Yeah.
And like I do, it's all in the episode. I answer the phone. My son's talking to me, but like about fishing, and I'm like, and at that time, you know, at his age, I was doing the same thing. I was fishing there,
Right.
like at the age that he was at, and he was calling me, and
Crazy
I was
how it
telling
all
him
comes
and
together.
showing him. I was just like, dude, like. Just that moment right there, like, dude, I just break out. I'm bawling, crying, bro. Like, it was just a moment that everybody was like, oh my gosh. And like, when the production crew, like, were editing that show, they just said, like, everybody in the studio was just crying,
Oh my
dude. They were like,
God.
dude, this right here was the one that just took, it was just crazy that he called me,
Yeah.
like, while I was there, you know. It was just like this crazy moment, but I think that right there was like,
bitching.
it
That's
was,
bitching.
dude, I was
And
just
you got
like,
it for the rest. You got it on video.
yep, got it on video. I was just
That's
like,
amazing.
what the heck? Like, out
Stars
of
align.
all times,
Yeah.
he would call me right now, you know? And it was just like, that's why they were like, no, answer it. Like, they're like telling me to
They
answer
knew
it.
what was up.
And I
Yeah.
just answered it, dude, and it created this whole moment. And they're like, dude, this was the show that
That's gold.
really touched people. Like,
Yeah.
this is the one that we needed on that side of things. You
Right.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, yeah, cool, it's a
Yeah,
freaking
the
show,
fisherman.
but you know how
shows the humanity and the heart
exactly.
behind.
There's certain
more.
things you need in shows that are scripted, that they make up. This was just unscripted, real, and it was that moment like, dude, we need this, you know what I mean?
That's
and it
amazing.
Yeah, a
happened,
good
dude.
production crew.
Yeah, dude, we still talk to those guys, dude. It was like, I don't even know. I think that show, we got nominated for 2 awards,
Hell yeah.
which was really tight, dude. Like, I think the thing about the show that happened is like the marketing, but like it was such a great show, and like a lot of people that were involved with the show that are still in the industry to this day, still working for Authentic, still shooting a lot of big stuff, was like, dude, this was the best show we have ever shot.
That's awesome.
We're still like in a group message, me and Oliver, with all of the videographers. We talk still to this day and still reminisce on, dude,
the good times.
I wish we had that again. Like, and they've been shooting all of these years after, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you guys could have you ever thought of trying to do it again and getting it on Netflix or something?
The thing is, so when we were really originally signed the contract, it took 2 years before someone started. Picked it up.
Yeah.
So we had Animal Planet, we had the History Channel, Red Bull was wanting, and we actually signed with Verizon at the time.
Okay.
Verizon came in, they had a new digital platform called Go90. That was their new digital, just like Netflix. They had a new platform called Go90. So when it came down to the budget and like the money wise, like they were offering the most to actually make this show happen. That's why our production team went with Verizon, because like Animal Planet wanted to do it, but it was, I don't think the numbers obviously were probably right.
Yeah.
The numbers probably weren't right. So we didn't go with, that didn't happen. Red Bull, the same thing. I remember we had the meeting with Red Bull, and the owner from Red Bull came from Australia, and he was just like, he loved it, but at that time, he was like, I don't really know how to market fishing. Like, it was, dude, there were more like extreme bikes and motocross and skateboarding and breakdancing, you know what I mean? So it was just a weird time. So he basically was just like, that's why I think numbers-wise, it didn't work out as well. And then Verizon came in. Verizon hopped on it. They bought it. Everything was funded completely, dude. Like,
that's sweet.
Full on production. Me and Oliver got paid. We had per diem. We had everything you could think of, all around the board. All of our big itinerary. We knew where we were staying. They put us in nice hotels next to the lakes. The smaller lakes were a little bit more like, kind of like, it weren't like 5-star hotels. Right. You know what I mean? Because some of these waters were remote, but a lot of times we were in the cities off. You know, and then
staying at the Marriott.
Yeah, but the thing is like they were giving us like, you know, it's shooting, bro. It's production. So there's 4 hours of fishing, freaking 4 hours of nightlife, and we're like, bro, 4 hours, like
that's not enough time.
We need more.
These waters are the size of our cities here. Yeah. You expect us to like break these waters down that quick and learn? And as we started shooting, they started realizing like, dude, we were like season 2, we had it mapped out. We knew what we were gonna do. Everybody kind of knew when we were putting like season 2 together. So after that, it was just like, as it got more toward the middle, because we shot 16 episodes. As it got more towards the middle, like, dude, they became way more flexible. That's how the whole grill thing came about. Yeah. Because me being in the music industry, I seen that Paul Wall and TV Johnny was opening up a brand new grill store, and we were coming through Houston. We were coming through Texas at the time. So I hopped on my phone, made some calls to some of my agents, and made some calls to some of the people that I know. Boom, made it happen, dude. Told the production team, we cut out a totally different like episode and place we were supposed to go. They're like, no, we're doing this. We're going here. So I mapped that whole. So we started to be able to, the only thing we didn't really be able to change is locations as far as like lakes and stuff. But we knew season 2, we had a better, because, you know, me and Oliver, our reputation of like swim bait fishing, catching all these big fish. And we come in this episodes, bro, struggling. Like, can't even get bit. Everybody, and we know a lot of different people in these states and lakes, and we would call them ahead of time just to ask them what the bite is like how is it? They're like, bro, it's the worst. It was that time we had. Me and Oliver was like, bro, we finally get a TV show.
And the fish stopped
And it's the fishing, the worst fishing of the year for everybody. It was when we got that really heat wave.
Yeah.
Everybody was just terrible, dude. So we caught fish, but it wasn't like everybody was thinking like, dude, Oliver and Carnell got a show. They're going to be cracking all these big swim bait fish, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not even the case. I think we caught 2 swim bait fish. I didn't catch one. Oliver caught one on a punker. And then our buddy Kevin Brightwell, which owns KGB, the swim bait company, he caught one off camera. Like, we split up. He caught one off camera when we were all together because we always had a camera boat.
Right.
So we would always call our friends that were in the States, say, yo, will you be our camera boat for the day? Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
And they would get on the show, and they would, be the camera boat for the day following us, but they were also fishing. So anything that happened on the boat, the cameras would
right.
Pick it up.
Exactly.
pick it up too. So that's how it was for Kevin. That's how he was able to get him. But him and Oliver were the only 2 that caught swim bait fish.
So where can people watch Breaking Bass?
So Breaking Bass is actually off the air now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. So Verizon, after it aired for, I think it was almost a year.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost a year, about a year maybe. That all 16 episodes obviously were premiered and stuff like that. And then it was still on air for that little bit of time, but then Verizon shut down their Go 90. So the thing about Go 90, it was like its total separate entity. Excuse me. So Verizon was basically like, look, whoever was in charge of Go 90, like, you got to make it happen. You know what I mean? It's not like, okay, Verizon's big. They could have did whatever they needed to do to,
Right.
but it's like, look, that's you guys' thing.
let it go,
You got to make it happen. If you don't make it happen, then, so they felt like their digital platform wasn't moving the way they wanted it to. And it had nothing to do with like the shows that were on it. It was just more of like
Business.
their digital platform. So that's what happened. They let Go 90 go. So all of the shows that were on there were gone. Like,
So we can't, no access to
it
it
was
anymore,
like
yeah.
no access. So we're like, okay.
Where'd
And
all
then-
our work go?
Exactly. So I started making calls like, dude, are we gonna release this on another network?
Yeah,
Are we
or at least
gonna-
YouTube or
Can
something.
you guys
Yeah. What the
send
hell?
us copies? Like,
Yeah.
nothing, dude.
Wow,
Like,
that's rough.
They own the rights, dude.
Yeah, that's
They
rough.
own the freaking rights. So like, they wouldn't like so. And then it came that time where it was like, oh shoot, we got nominated for 2 awards. Oh heck yeah! Then they started calling us like, look,
Yeah.
if this happens, you guys win. Like, we're bringing this back and all of
Yeah.
this, right? So we end up losing to freaking the Ball Brothers,
Oh, okay.
Oh.
which had millions of
Right.
Support.
Yeah.
which has so much support.
But dad's on the news like every other weekend.
It's still
But
cool to
we
be
were
in the running with
dude,
them.
we
Yeah,
were
that's
we
sweet.
were actually beating them in the votes at one time, and then they actually at the end, but we were number 2 under them.
They
dude.
called
You're-
dad.
So
Yeah, I know.
Like, we're
right?
losing,
Bass
Dad.
Fishing TV reality show
Tell me about it.
came in second
Yep.
to the Ball Brothers.
To the Ball
pretty good.
Brothers.
Does
dude.
that tell you how much this culture's changing?
Yeah,
Big time.
That's awesome.
Right? Fishing's becoming cool. That's
Yes.
super exciting.
It's not
That's-
nerdy like when he was growing
Exactly.
up. Now it's
and
more
that's what I'm
mainstream.
saying. And the thing is,
You were a nerd,
fishing
I'm
was
not.
always cool to us, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Never
Always
ever
cool.
was. It's still funny because the friends that I grew up with that said it was weird and like they were like, you're gonna go fishing. They still say that today, but I still look at it as like, hell yeah.
Have
I'm
you
fishing.
ever
Yeah.
taken them out though?
Yeah, well, Cole used to say that, our cousin, and now he
Exactly.
fishes.
Now
see.
my cousin
Yeah.
Cole, my cousin Cole this year spent over $2,000
Yep.
on fishing gear,
Yep.
and he just got into it.
The
You
funny
ruined his
thing
life.
is those old friends that used to say that to me call me now. Take me, bro.
Yeah, where
I,
we going?
yeah, I want to learn this too, the way you make. And it just became, you know what? It was just more of like, they just had a stigma, dude. Like, everybody, and that's if you ever seen the Breaking Bass.
I'm gonna find that.
If you ever seen the Breaking Bass intro, you will see how we did it. Like on the beginning, how you see the old guy sitting down and he's like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, like if you watch it and like you will see like the way we switched it and made a comparison to that and like, no, this is not that.
What we're doing.
This is this. And that's when everybody's like, oh, shoot.
So I don't know how long we've been doing this podcast, but it's got to be a long time, right?
I don't know.
I don't know either. So where can people find you? On Instagram, or are you promoting anything right now?
So on my Instagram is because my MC name is Dimension.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but that name was taken on Instagram, so I just doubled up on the I's.
We have to do underscores for ours.
Yeah. So I doubled up on the I, so it's DIIMENSIION.
Okay.
So it's just a double I. I'm on Instagram. That's mainly like my social that I kind of, am involved with and actually like posting pictures and doing stuff like that with.
Yeah.
And I mean, other than that, it's just really, little bit of music here and there, not really doing too much music. Everything I do now, though, is kind of fishing related. Mm-hmm. So I did a few projects with a few other people and stuff like that where we're going to be dropping pretty soon. A lot of the stuff is Big Bass Dreams based, so the same way I like did the theme song and stuff like that. It was all Big Bass Dreams. So other than that, man, I'm just really fishing, man, and trying to get a little bit more in depth and starting to fish these bigger events. So I'm going to start with like the Wombasses and stuff like that. This is a really, really good event. Billy runs a really good program with all of the Opens, the AZ, the California, and the U.S. Open. So I'll probably do the AZ this year for sure. I'm already signed to do the AZ, depending on availability as far as like whether the U.S. Open is open. It's been like, man, it's been crazy. That tournament has really been getting a lot bigger than before. Yeah. So if not this year, I plan on probably doing all three next year, U.S., California, and the AZ. So. And then move into the FLWs, man. Like I was hoping this year that the FLW came back to Havasu because that's like our close 4 hours. It's like I can do that. Me, Havasu, but dude, you talking about? I want to do Clear Lake. Believe me, I love Clear Lake. That's
a big swim bait guy's home.
Here we go. Like I've been there. I've practiced the FLW. I actually signed up to do at the FLW Clear Lake, and didn't get in because it was just too full. Right. But I went up hoping to get in. I practiced. Me and Oliver practiced. That's the one he actually fished the FLW that year, and I was up there for like 15 days, and So,
you had that place dialed.
Dude, that place, it was tough. At that time, though, it was crazy. But we started figuring some things out, and that's when the water was drawn down really low, and like they didn't really have a great herring spawn that year either. So it was a little tricky. Like a lot of the sea-doos and boats were like just on the ground from when they draw all of the water down. But I plan on moving to starting to do the FLWs and see where that goes, man. I'm really proud of my buddy Oliver's doing the freaking Bassmaster Opens this year, and
it's awesome.
If he qualifies to fish the elites, man, that's huge, man. So I'll be rooting for him this year, and that's really it, man. Just trying to get out, fish as much as possible. My rig's finally fixed, so I get to do a little bit of trophy fishing, hopefully. I haven't got to do much this year because my rig's been down. And then now that it's back up, AZ Open's about to happen, so I'm going to be fishing Havasu, if anything. But right when that tournament's done after February, I'm moving straight into doing some trophy fishing, trying to catch some teeners and some doubles, man.
Cool. Well, we'll be rooting for you at Havasu.
I appreciate it.
Rooting for you for all your next bigger tournaments. I hope to have you back in here because I had a blast today.
This is a good I think by far, not because you're sitting here, this is our best podcast.
Right
It's been really good.
I appreciate it, man.
Really
I had
cool.
a great time with you guys, man. And the thing is, it's funny because the podcast, you know, you only have so much time, and there's so much to cover.
Yeah.
And there's so much to talk about.
Yeah.
And you can go so in depth on
Yeah.
one thing. You know
That's
what I
why
mean?
we need you back.
It's what's funny about it is these cameras stopped recording an hour ago. We've been off.
Yeah, we just been talking to you.
I know, right? That would suck, but hey, it is what it is. Still a great time, you know?
All right. Go ahead.
Any sponsors, friends you want to plug, man?
Oh, definitely, always. Big Bass Dreams for sure. Mega Bass for sure. Stormar Gear for sure. You know, I'm definitely affiliated with my buddies at Swim Bait Underground. Swim Bait Culture. I mean, Working Class Zero. Those are all buddies of mine. You know what I mean? So I always rep their stuff as well. And my tournament partner, man, Gabriel.
There you go.
That's my boy right there, dude. Shout out to my boy Gabe. We fished against each other for the first time at the AZ Open this year, so I'm really, I'm really excited. Yeah, I'm really,
Good. Are you guys
really.
gonna stay together?
Yeah, we're
you
staying.
go.
He has a
Dinner
house there.
conversations.
He has a house there.
Oh, nice.
So, but we're bringing in all the buddies, dude. It's got me, my sponsor mate, Parker Wright, was with Mega Bass.
Oh, yeah.
He'll be staying with us. My other sponsor mate, Matty Wong, with Mega Bass. He'll be staying with us. Gabriel will be staying with us. And then the FLW co-champion from, what's the one that just went down? Shoot, I can't even think of the lake. But his name is, drew a blank.
It's all
I'm trying
good.
to remember.
Philip does
but
that every podcast.
He'll be staying with us as well.
That sounds like a real fun time, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds.
It makes me
super
want to
fun.
start tournament fishing again.
I
Big
told
time.
you this year we need to get back into it.
I've been
for sure.
thinking about pulling the trigger on the Open, but I just
You know what? Just to kind of get the groove of things, just fish the local ABAs,
Right.
man, and the
That's where
National
we need to
Bass
put our time in.
West.
Yes.
That's what I just fish the local stuff, and I really respect you guys though for going in and codes at the FLWs, dude. That
so
is
nervous.
I got Sean Bailey. I was like,
dude,
oh,
that's
God.
not an easy thing.
No, it's a big step, but
That's
man,
a big
I can't wait
step
do it
to
again.
be, but I can imagine that experience, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Just to be there and to see the way things operate, and just the adrenaline of everybody and everything
fun.
moving and the.
We're both ex-football players, so it's funny because like even with Melvin, Melvin's a real cool-tempered guy, kind of quiet. The guy calls our boat number, and I looked at Melvin. And I go, "Let's get this shit, man. Let's go!" I gave him a fist bump.
Mel was
But it's
like,
yeah,
"All right,
he's like,
cool,
"Oh,
let's go."
Yeah, but I'm like, I go, "Hey, I get so much
Yeah,
adrenaline,
get
man. I'm
pumped,
so
dude.
sorry."
I played rugby in college, and there would be no bigger rush than that first blast off.
Dude,
That, you know, bass fishing.
So much.
Dude, that blast off is
It's
nuts.
such a good feeling.
It's just like, and then just making those casts and getting that first bite.
Yeah.
And just getting that first fish in, dude, that's just
Yeah.
getting that first fish kicks it off.
I mean, if our TV
Kicks
was
it off.
working right now, I'd show you. We fished Wild West bass at Shasta, and we caught a 3.5 pounder on a creek, and like he nets it, and he goes like, "Woo!" And I grabbed him by his life jacket, and I go, "Where you go, man? Where you
Yeah, heck yeah.
And he hooked like a 6, right? Or
It was
something.
a 5.5.
A 5.5 spot on a
my.
spinnerbait. He's like, I think I got a striper. And I was like, there's no
Bro.
stripers in here, dude.
Did we get it in
spot?
the yeah?
Yeah,
That's
it was
a big spot, bro.
Wild West bass. It was
We had
a
no idea what we
7
were
fish
doing.
limit. We caught 4. And
Wait,
I-
a 7-fish limit?
Yeah, they're doing
teams.
7.
Team tournaments.
Their team tournament. I don't know if they still do that today,
I
but
don't
when
know.
we
How
were
long
doing it-
ago was that?
Probably a couple years. No, more years. 4 or 5
Damn,
years.
dude,
yeah.
you guys were fishing the Wild West when it first started.
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, right when it
was
started.
Yes.
Right when it opened up.
That's dope, dude.
was a lot of fun.
I've always wanted to fish one of those.
They had like 210 boats that day. We came in 64th place with 4 fish, and all the way down to 155th, they had 5 or 7 fish. So if we would have just caught 3 more fish,
We got check for sure.
but we got a big
did get
fish check.
Yeah.
We got a
Yeah.
big fish check.
Dude, a 210 boats, bro.
We're at 64.
Dude, I gotta give you guys props on that.
No pre-fishing. That was the
Nah.
first time we ever fished
Ever
Shasta.
fished the place?
They were like, oh, you guys are going for the big ones. We're like, we're good.
Okay.
We had no idea
idea what we were
I love
doing.
that, dude. I love that you guys just, dude. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people today are just afraid, dude. There's people that DM me all the time, like, bro, like, how do I get into it? What do I do? Bro, you just start.
Jump in, yeah.
Just jump
It's
in,
tough.
dude. Another guy's like, no, dude, I'm practicing every day. I'm like, bro, you could practice all year.
Yeah.
And the day of the tournament, you can blank.
Yeah.
It's tournament fishing, bro.
Exactly.
Just get in there and start doing it.
A page out of Nike's book and just do it.
There you
That's
go.
it.
Very terrible joke, Philip, to end the
That's
podcast.
Why?
Just ruined the whole podcast right at the end. You were
Nice.
doing so good.
Sign it off. Sign it off.
All right, well, I just want to say thank you to 22nd Street Landing for letting us have our studio here. A beautiful place. It looks a lot better than the last podcast. Remember the last podcast, Philip?
Yeah.
There was there was like nothing in here. We were still doing construction.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
And I want to say, if you're a saltwater guy, Friedman Adventures, my dad does a podcast. Perfect for you there.
Bunch of charters coming up. If
charters
you guys wanna
coming up.
fish with us. FreedomAdventures.com.
2021, yeah. If you want to get your swim bait ripped in half by a bluefin tuna, we can make that happen.
Hey, you should come bluefin to.
Hey, I gotta try it, man. I've always wanted to do
Or
like
those
calico and stuff.
Oh
Dude.
my god, dude.
I got
That's
some
my
calico
thing right
bass
there.
fishing. It's just like fishing largies when you're
Oh
punching
yeah,
for 'em.
Insane.
exactly.
So
That
much
and
fun.
fishing the kelp. It's
And they're on
the
roids.
same
And
thing,
big
dude.
swim baits,
Yeah.
big
Yep.
9-inch swim baits.
That's
and
why I've always wanted to do the
I know just the
the
guy you need to
calicos,
meet. And I think
dude.
your buddy Oliver already fished with him. Benny Florentino.
Okay.
We just did a podcast with him. He takes guys out of here, and it's 11, 12-pound calicos, and you're burning swim
Oh
baits
my
on the surface, and
gosh,
you got
dude.
these fish coming out of the water eating it. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And
That's sweet.
lastly, I want to thank Carnell for coming out from Rancho
Hey, I
Cucamonga,
appreciate-
right?
Yeah, I came all the way
That's
from
that's
Rancho.
that's
I
a
appreciate
long
you guys
drive.
having me, dude.
Really
That's-
appreciate it,
This is really dope. I like what you guys
Thanks,
are doing.
man. Well,
you know?
we're going to have you back on soon.
for sure.
This was too much fun.
Yeah,
right
for
on,
sure.
man.
Well, good luck at the Open, Carnell. I'll be keeping in touch
Appreciate
on social
it.
media. And
Definitely.
till the next one, guys, we'll see you next time.
Peace out.